I'm taking a mental break from working on my well because it is a good time of year to cut all this grass and poison oak off the hillside. So I went out yesterday and I got this brand new weed eater and a face mask and a big paint onesie. I'm gonna cover myself from head to toe and buzz this entire hillside of poison oak. This section down here at the bottom of the property doesn't have as much poison oak, but it's the spot that we use the most. My wife's garden got put down into that greenhouse because all the animals out here were kind of nibbling on the plants, and so we downsized. We hope later to have a much bigger garden that kind of takes up this whole area down here, but that's for another time. That water tank has been refilled once. We've been using that to water the garden because our well has not been consistent. I have made some progress on the well this week, but that's for another video. That driveway on my left is shared with the neighbors and it goes up this entire property line. So, I got up to this poison oak and the string kept breaking. So, hopefully this zombie weapon works. The blade attachment on the weed eater does in fact work really well. I wanted to get a close-up of it working and cutting, but it was throwing a lot of debris and I didn't want to get anything on my camera, so I didn't get any close-ups. The crazy part about cutting this poison oak was realizing what other plants I had on the hillside. I didn't even realize I had a pine tree right there. But in contrast, my wife thought there were more trees up on the hillside. She didn't realize just how much overgrowth there was. That when I limbed up this tree and I got rid of the poison oak, she was like, I thought there were more trees over here. And I was like, no, that was just overgrowth. I saved the little pine tree and I limbed up the larger trees just to make everything look cleaner. And then I kept going on the poison oak. So I know this kind of work needs to be done like every year, sometimes multiple times a year, because plants don't stop growing. But this hillside was so bad, it felt like somebody hadn't cut their hair in a decade, and just this initial cut to clear the hillside was therapeutic, to just get it all done with. So that way next spring, when this stuff is all growing back, it won't get super high, and it'll be a lot easier to maintain. At this point I had worn through the feet on the suit I was wearing, and I did end up getting poison oak on my ankles, and the gap between my gloves and my sleeves I got poison oak on my wrists. This footage is sped up, and I didn't film everything because that would have been like 3 hours of footage, but this was a couple hours in the morning, and then I eventually wanted to stop, so I took all the gear off, took a lunch break, and then I came back in the evening. So I have a ton of landscaping experience, and you guys already know me for my water features, so I have huge vision for this piece of property to be turned into a paradise. Most of these trees look amazing just as they are, and where we're located here in Oregon, we have an incredible climate, so this whole area has great potential. I have dreams of using permaculture through the whole property to use the rainwater from top to bottom to water all the plants. I want to put fruit all over the hillside and a giant vegetable garden at the bottom. I want to have water features all over the place with trails that weave all of it together and space for my kids to play throughout all of it. This level of monotonous work is just step one. We'll get to the more creative stuff eventually. This is why I couldn't just take a big mower through here. Not only is it a steep hillside, but there's some huge rocks in here. Alright, so it's been a week since I did all this weed eating, and it looks so much better out here. It's kind of hard to tell on camera because it all still looks like it's full of weeds, but the poison oak was like this high, and now it's like ankle height. I'm able to walk out here with shorts on. I think I got like half the property from like midway through the trees all the way over to this top side of the property. All the poison oaks cut down to my ankles. Before I cut it out, I couldn't see what all was underneath here. But now I see where the rocks are, where the stumps are, how the hill slopes. And I have access to this tree, which I want my kids to be able to play around. So I brought my dad's backhoe over here, which doesn't really do well on hillsides, but I think if I park at the bottom of the slope, I can reach up with the bucket. And I'm gonna try to clean up around this rock right here, get the poison oak uprooted, and maybe get that tire swing up on that branch. Pointing at the tire, okay? All right, angle down a little bit, right there. I thought 4 of these loops. They each have a nut form on the bottom, and then I'm sticking these big washers on the inside of the tire to keep the tire from like breaking and ripping this out.
Whoa. How do you get up there?
Daddy's got to dig out more of the dirt over there.
This is fun.